Many of us have switched to gas grills rather than charcoal briquettes and outdoor grilling with wood briquettes. If you're going to use gas grills, there are a couple other safety tips you need to be aware of. First is you should never store your cylinders in closed spaces. Some of the gas cylinders will have small leaks. If they're in a closed space for a prolonged period of time, you're a very dangerous collection of propane in that area. So always store your tanks in outdoor, well-ventilated areas. Second thing to do is at least once a season, you should put soapy water along all the track from your gas tank to your burners while the gas is going. See if there's any leaking bubbles. Expanding bubbles are a sign that there is a leak in your system. Those should be repaired either by yourself if you know how to do that, or by a certified technician. We've all been frustrated by the grill that won't start. So I would encourage a couple different avenues to make sure you got a nice, consistent charcoal fire to grill over. One, they sell charcoal chimneys where you can place your charcoal inside a chimney, put fire newspaper within that chimney, and as that newspaper burns, it lights your charcoal without using any lighter fluid whatsoever. The second recommendation is you can use lighter fluid, but you should never use gasoline or kerosene. Those are too flammable, they're too dense, and they are very dangerous to use around fires. The third thing is never put lighter fluid, kerosene, or gasoline on an artery lit fire. That is a recipe for disaster. Also remember that the coals that you've used will remain hot for 12 to 24 hours. Those are still very dangerous, and some of the burns that we see come from a fire that was let go 12 hours, 24 hours later, and young children get into those coals thinking that they're just dry and not hot and get burns to their feet. At the Rhode Island Burn Center at Rhode Island Hospital, we see 3 types of burn injuries a year based on outdoor grilling. The first is unfortunately the young children that get into old fire pits or old disposed of charcoal briquettes after they're used. The children think that there's a layer of dust. They think it's kind of fun as they kick up the dust, but what they don't realize is that a lot of times those embers are still very hot. So we get a child or 2 a year that come into our burn center with burns to the bottom of their feet. These are very potentially debilitating burns. The second type of burn we see is young people doing some horseplay around fires, especially with the combination of alcohol and barbecue and outdoor fires. This is never a good combination. The last type of burn we see are people who are working with propane tanks. The first time they try to light the fire with a propane tank, it doesn't light. What you should do is you should turn off your gas flame, open up your lid, let that completely air out for any of the gas or propane that's already in that cylinder or housing to be diffused, and then start from scratch again.